Hey guys, this video is going to go over an installation of a chassis skin protector on an RC vehicle. I have here in my hand a Losi 5IVE 2.0 aluminum skid plate, and we are going to install a special edition Ripper checkered flag with a metallic flake add-on onto this chassis plate. So stay tuned and let's roll the intro. Okay, so the first thing you want to do when you are installing a chassis skin protector from Darkside Studios is turn your RC vehicle upside down. And of course, in this situation here, I don't have an RC vehicle attached to this. It's just a new chassis plate. So let's just imagine that your vehicle is laying upside down. You're going to have your wheels sticking out here. I would recommend taking a plastic bag and put them around the wheels and either using some tape or a zip tie to sort of zip tie them off and keep it sterile. That way no dirt can sort of fall onto the chassis plate while you're working. The other thing I would do, if your chassis plate is intact to the actual RC car, is to use a pick like this and some compressed air to remove all the dirt from the screw heads, okay? And once you do that, you need to take some cleaning solution, and a lot of this is, actually all of this is going to be outlined in the instructions that is actually printed onto the kit. So I'm going to go over it very quickly here, but if you choose to order something like this, rest assured, more details included in the instructions. So I'm going to take some 91% isopropyl alcohol. I just got this from my local drugstore. You can get it anywhere, Walmart, Amazon. And I'm just going to go over the chassis plate. For demonstration purposes, I'm going to do this really quickly, but you should really take your time and get in there and get everything nice and clean. Go around the edges, get all the grease and oil, things that will prevent a good coherent bond with the graphics. So once you get your chassis plate cleaned, we're going to set it aside. A couple other tools I've got here is a heat gun. I have a 32-ounce bottle of clean water that is at room temperature, and I've added about 6 drops of dish detergent. And for the chassis plate installs, I put about a teaspoon of this isopropyl alcohol inside this when it's full at 32 ounces. And what this does is it helps the water evaporate just a little bit more quickly. I've got a felt tip squeegee. If you can't get your hands on a felt tip squeegee locally, you can take a clean cloth like this and just go right over top of it, and you get the same effect. Okay. I also have a sharp X-Acto knife, which will come in very handy. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to actually remove the chassis plate graphic from this sheet. Now, right here, what I have is 2 chassis skins, because I'm actually doing 2 for a couple different clients. But when you get your chassis skin, it will have the instructions printed on the sheet, and it'll have some extra goodies in there. In this situation, I've got some Band-Aids that you can use after you go out and bash a while. You may get a bad divot in something, and you can throw a Band-Aid on it. It looks cool and helps protect it even more. A lot of the chassis kits actually come with 2 skins. So you get the skin and a bonus free skin, because these are consumable products after a while. Depending on how much you bash, you can take it off and put the free skin on after you feel the first one has run its life course. So I am going to begin by removing the chassis skin. And I want you to take notice how thick this is, okay? I'm going to move it just a little bit more, but look how it's able to hold itself up there. I mean, that is impressive. These are about the thickness of a credit card. I get a lot of questions. How thick is your chassis skins? Are they just thin, car wrap skins? Are they thick? And the answer is they are very, very thick. Okay, so my table is nice and sterile, and I can slide this around the table without any dirt or dust, okay? First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to spray it down with the soapy water mixture. And then I'm going to inspect it and see if there are any holes left over that did not come out. And there are. Being that I have sprayed it, I can now touch it and my hands won't stick. And I can remove or pluck out all the extra pieces. I'm going to set them aside because I don't need them. And I'm going to take the chassis plate, which has been prepped. Looks like I'm running out of fluid here. Bear with me. There we go. Okay. Great. And now all I need to do is just put the chassis skin over top, okay? Don't be too scared. Look what I can do here. I can actually slide this around, okay? Now I want to go over a few things about our chassis skins. This is a PVC-based product, and what happens with PVC is it's very susceptible to expansion and contraction with temperature. So if you're watching this and you're in Canada, and it's, say, November. In November, it's 65, 70 degrees here in Pennsylvania where I am. So when I cut and manufacture this and I roll it up and I ship it out, by the time it gets to Canada, it could be colder up there, and the product likes to contract a little bit. And that's okay, it's expected. So what we've done is we've back cut all these holes, as you can see, so you have a little bit of wiggle room, okay? And as you can see, I just sort of slide it in place until I'm happy with the fitment everywhere. And that looks pretty good. I don't see any real problems. The holes are all lining up within tolerances. Everything looks pretty darn good. So now what I need to do is I just need to warm it up a little bit. What happens when you spray these aluminum plates down? Even if you're at room temperature, the evaporation off the plate from the alcohol that we put inside the water actually has a cooling effect. And when it does that, you can see this sticker wants to go straight out here instead of sort of naturally bend down. So I want you to watch closely what I do here. What I want to do is, now that I'm happy with alignment, I want to warm up the center because I want to fix the center axis of the graphic. And by doing that, it won't move on me as I work my way out the sides. Okay? So I'm going to use my finger and make sure it's holding down, and I'm just going to push like that and then pull like that. And at this point, that's pretty good contact right there, and it's 50% adhered. When I say 50%, you still have about a minute where you can probably pull this up and have minimal effort doing so and minimal problem doing so. Any longer than about a minute and that bond is really starting to grab, and it's an exponential bond, so as time goes on it will get stronger and stronger. I'm going to heat up this axis now down the center. Okay, and I'm just going to work my way down this center axis. I can see the water coming out. That looks good. Okay. So now we've got this center axis and this. It's like a T. And this thing is not moving. At this point, we can really go over this now and get it the rest of the way down. And you can see what happens here when I heat it up. Because it's a PVC product, we all know that when you heat up PVC products like PVC plumbing or piping, it bends. And then when it cools, it hardens up and maintains its last shape. And graphics are no different. It's much more pronounced when you get these thicker graphics like this than it is a thin car wrap. And you can see how easy it was for me to get that down and bonded right there. So now I'm just going to spin this around and do the other side. One of the nice things about heating up a chassis plate is the aluminum will maintain the heat. As you heat up the vinyl, some of that heat's getting into the metal plate, and when you touch it, you can feel it remaining, and it makes it very easy to install chassis plate graphics. So I'm just going to go down like this. I'm sort of going to be careful around these holes so I don't get the corner of my squeegee in there and sort of tear it up. Graphic won't tear. I shouldn't use the word tear, but it'll sort of get under there. Then you'll get a fiber underneath there, and you won't get a good bond. Okay, so I'm just going down over, and that looks fantastic. I'm going to go over some of these other details here. With how thick these chassis plate graphics are, it is virtually impossible to get an air bubble. And that's because the vinyl just is too rigid and thick to go up on a little curve right there where the air bubble is. So as you're squeegeeing this down, even though your squeegee's only right here, it's so thick and strong that I would say in an arc out from here, because of its thickness, it's actually pushing water where the squeegee isn't even pushing. Okay? So this is actually done, with the exception of just letting it sit and bond before you go out for your first ride. I want to go over a couple more things. I'm just going to dry this up here. You can see we have nice clean gaps around all these. That gives you some wiggle room when you're working with your screws. They can go in and out, okay? If for some reason one hole does not line up quite right, you can heat up that particular spot a lot. I don't want to say a lot, enough that you can still touch it and not feel like you're getting burned. And you can just give it a little smudge like that. And what that'll do is you can push it 1/16 of an inch, which is plenty when it comes to tolerances of these holes, and get your tolerances more even. On a chassis plate, I don't think you need to go crazy on that, but if for some reason one of these holes have shifted during production, that is a good technique to use so you don't have to make a return and go through the process of waiting for a new one to come in. It is very important that these chassis plate graphics are back cut from these edges. You can see that they're back cut all the way around. And the reason for that is, if I were to run this graphic, engineer it right to the edge, you can take your finger and I'd be able to peel that graphic up just by going like that. But because it's offset, rocks and other debris can't access the edges of these graphics. That's absolutely important. So here it is. This is a Darkside Studios Ripper wrap, or skin chassis wrap, I should say, installed on a Losi 5IVE 2.0 chassis. This has the metallic flake add-on, as you can see in the light here, and it's done in a checkered flag option. This Ripper theme you can have done in almost any flag option. This one's checkered. You can do USA, you can do United Kingdom, you can do a Canadian flag. Just contact me after you buy and let me know what flag you'd like. I'm going to put all the links below the video to the website where you can get these and other great products from Darkside Studios. So here it is, and thank you for watching.